just like that, they buy it. They eat it up. You pander to them, you thank them. I mean, really, people, I thought you were a little bit smarter than that. I mean, it's just so easy to say the name of the city. You cheer.
Hey, Stephanie,
you cheer. I mean, just come on.
Welcome to the A Show.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcast, reunited for 2020. I am Justin, here with Meelz, back from winter vacation. What's going on, Meelz?
I feel refreshed. I think
you sound refreshed. I
think that was the first time, and gotta be, when did we start the A Show? 2017.
17, yeah.
I think that's the first solid week. That's the first time for at least 2 weeks I have not done a podcast.
Wow.
Just like in that entire period, because we've been going, I mean, as you know, with the A Show weekly episodic audio, we've been going strong, very strong. Michael Cole be giving me the vernacular sometimes. Yeah. We've been going strong. And then like over the past, course of the last 2-3 years, other podcasts have come up, other things. Some of them are also weekly. Some of them are also things. I think after December, where I kind of jumped in on everything. I was doing Lookout. I was doing It's a Challenge. I hopped on an episode of ROP Gaming. I hopped in an episode of Big Eyes. I was doing the A Show. I was just like, all right, I need to kind of like stop for a second, cool off, and then we come back.
It's kind of like what the WWE is letting people do. Just take some time off, Yeah.
So, take a little Rusev day off,
So I want to thank Mark for being on the show, the first show of 2020 last week. Excellent show. We did some real good fantasy booking on that.
That was fun. I did listen to that. That was fun.
Make sure you check out Mark on RSBN, as well as I Am Not a Genius, dropping this month as well. But we're back to business. We're back to work here. And it seems like the wrestling community and the wrestling world is back to work too. I am so glad, because these last 2 weeks have been really rough with watching all these pre-tape shows and all these kind of like mulligan. Well, I wouldn't say Raw was like a mulligan last week. I think Raw has pretty much been business. Like they had their business face on every single week.
They're cooking. Like usually, during football season, it's like, all right, we're not even going to do any of the crazy stuff that we do. But with this, I think with Paul Heyman in the helm, and I think a refreshed Paul Heyman, I would say, because it's not like he's been doing creative for the last like 15 years and now is just kind of like sputtering out of ideas. He's still relatively fresh to this entire thing, and I think there's a big team behind him. It's really good. At least Raw. Smackdown this week was pretty good, but I can't say it was because of the quality of content. I think it's just because of everyone who showed up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. So let's get into No Holds Barred. And I shudder to ask you this question, and but we have to talk about it because we're the show that realistically talks about this thing.
Of course.
Okay. Did you watch Wrestle Kingdom 14? Did you watch Wrestle Kingdom 14?
How many hours of Wrestle Kingdom were there this weekend?
Like 10.
I probably watched about 3 hours of that.
Okay.
And that's about a solid 3 matches in fucking New Japan.
I of course watched both nights, not the tags. I did watch the Liger tags, but then I skipped forward.
First of all, what was this 2-night thing? I didn't see it coming.
They announced it like in the summer. They announced it last summer. It was gonna be 2 nights. Yeah, they announced it during the G1.
Okay, all right. No, I didn't see it coming at all. I was very surprised. I was like, wait, there's another night?
Yeah, why tonight.
I was like, but wait, so the G1 G1 is like subsequent, is like pushed to the first night. And then I didn't like that personally. I was like, wait, why is the G1 the first night? The G1 winner,
you mean the Wrestle Kingdom?
Yeah, the G1 winner who challenges who challenges the IWGP champion should face it on the second night. But I get what they did with this entire thing.
They kind of made it like, and it's kind of bullshit. And I guess I'll kind of touch on it as well, because I think that Ibushi kind of got the raw deal here.
Big raw deal.
Like, as far as booking, because it's like, I'm pretty sure he was expecting, well, not even storyline. I mean, storyline wise, I'm pretty sure he's cool with it, but I'm pretty sure Ibushi was like, okay, I'm going to do this on this night, and then that's how we're going to, I'm going to have it on night two. But they made it like a bracket system where Jay White had the IC title, and Naito had to beat him in order to qualify to face whoever won the IWGP title match the night before. So it became like a losers bracket, winners bracket type thing.
Yeah, and I felt that it did so much. Like immediately, Ibushi was out of the conversation. Like immediately, just like out of the conversation. Yeah,
Jay White was too. I thought Jay White was too. It felt like his reign as IC champ was like transitional as you can get too. It just felt like really, really weird. Like Okada, of course, had the belt for, I want to say, a year. I think he won it off of Jay White early last year. Mm-hmm. And then he just kind of held it like he usually does. And I'm pretty sure he'll get it back again. I'm pretty sure by like June.
No one said a thing about it. It was just like, Okada, okay.
I'm not shocked about it. But I mean, you had a lot of matches on there. This is the first big wrestling thing that I watched for the year. I did make a resolution that I'm going to watch a lot more New Japan this year. I kind of fallen off of it last year. It wasn't really interesting to me, but I think they got a pretty solid core.
They hadn't earned you last year, so it's not like you were out of pocket for just like ignoring it. It wasn't as great last year.
Yeah, it was a transition period. It definitely was. I think the G1 it picked up a little bit. I think that there are certain characters had to become themselves, and I think getting Kenta was a big deal. I think that obviously Jay White came into his own during the year. I was very surprised by a lot of what he did over the two nights, but I think that one of his matches during the two nights was way worse than the other. Mm-hmm. But I think that a lot of characters had to step up. A lot of performers had to step up, and they finally got it. And I think that, the core they have now is pretty cool, even though like Naito, let's just talk about the Naito thing, right? So yes. Naito is, of course, the first double champion in New Japan history. Well-deserved, well-earned. I think a couple of years too late. A lot of people are saying, well, people have two minds about it. They say if he won it 2 years ago, he wouldn't have got the double belts, and he wouldn't have got the reaction that he got last weekend. Mm-hmm. And other people are like, well, it doesn't matter. Like they're like, they're kind of saying like the two belt thing is propped up now. It's like, of course they're going to prop him up and do that now, and it's going to mean a lot because the stakes were way higher. But how about when it meant a lot more to a lot of the people at the time if he had won 2 years ago in Tokyo Dome? And I tend to agree with that. I think that Naito was an afterthought last year. Like he was in like really dead and fused. And to be fair, they had to heat him up a little bit, like to get into this, but I'm happy for him winning. I think it's the right thing to do. But this dude admitted that in November he had eye surgery because he was having like a condition with his eyes where like the muscles were messed up. And I'm like, he's broken down. He has no knees.
Yeah.
Like he looks he's a step slower. And I noticed that all weekend. And I was like, he's not the same guy. And I don't know if like him finally having this big run where he's almost 40 is really like the key for me now. I'm happy that it happened, but it's like, oh, okay, it's here now.
I think it's more that it happened. Yeah, at this point, it's more that it happened now than trying to establish him as another kind of because I think at this point, I can't actually say this because I don't watch a ton of New Japan, but obviously I don't know how long he's going to hold both of these championships.
Well, it's weird because after that, and I'll touch more on Wrestle Kingdom itself in a second, but at New Year's Dash, or at the end of Wrestle Kingdom Night 2, Kenta came out and ruined his moment. A lot of people are very pissed about that. I I don't really care. I think that, you got to put the storyline out. Like, I don't think they would have had a hell of a lot of time with the Liger stuff going on during New Japan Dash. So whatever. Kenta's going to be competing for both belts on the 9th of February, which is kind of weird because remember when Seth Rollins was like double champ and then he would wrestle 2 times in one night. And even Naito said this himself at a press conference. He was just like, I don't know how Kenta's getting a shot at both belts. He should just pick one. And if I got to wrestle 2 times in a night, it's fine. I was just like, yeah, like that's the drama of having 2 championships, right? Is that you have to wrestle twice. Yeah. And it's weird.
I don't know. They're weird. They're weird here. I don't know if I'll say it was an interesting night.
What matches did you catch?
So I definitely watched Okada Ibushi. Thought it was great. I thought it was great. I think if Ibushi won, I would have been a lot happier.
That sucks.
Yeah. What else did I see? Takahashi versus Ospreay.
Excellent match.
Watch that. Still don't like his finishing thing with the backhand to the head. I feel like that's just
it's OD
waiting to happen. First of all, it's OD. Yes. let's talk about that first. It was super OD. But yeah, it was a fine match, and I think I watched Naito versus Jay White, and I think that was it.
Naito Jay White, not my favorite match. I think Ibushi Jay White was even worse than that the next night. I gave that 2 stars.
Yikes! I didn't get to see any of the Moxley matches.
Oh man, I thought that Archer and Moxley was a little disappointing because I have been tooting the Lance Archer alarm for a while. He's like one of my favorites. He's really good. He's good.
Really good.
He's good. He's one of my favorite. He reminds me of like.
Took him long enough.
He's like a Damian Priest from NXT. Okay. He's really much like he's kind of like, and he's a lot older. Well, I think they're both like the same age now I think about it. But I think that like he's like a super athletic big man, and that's what I like about him. And I think that Moxley's the constant garbage matches, constant weapons matches, they tend to kind of go to the same loop where it's like it's a bunch of punching, waiting around, then a big spot, and then a bunch of getting up, waiting around. But I will say this about Moxley: the way he is presented in New Japan is so much better than he's presented in AEW because he is actually like he's given a chance to have these types of matches where it's like really cool technical matches with really, really great opponents. And I think Archer's one of them. And I think Juice Robinson is one of them. And I really enjoyed Juice and Mox's match as well.
But I think the problem with Moxley has always been like, yeah, he can have these type of matches if he wants, maybe. I mean, it kind of really depends on the mood. But it's always kind of the personality and the wacky stuff that he did that kind of like offsets a lot of the things that he does, right? Like it's a lot of the things that he'll like say or a lot of his mannerisms in AEW or even WWE that'll happen that'll make you like think twice about actually wanting to see the match. I think he just kind of gets to be his raw self. He gets, gets to kind of do his thing. And I think that's really what he wants to do, especially with this run in Japan. I think he's wanted to have this kind of forever. And,
I mean, Archer pulls out a plastic bag and puts it over Moxley's face during their match.
That's pretty tight.
It's they do some really crazy stuff. And I thought that Juice and Mox just had a better match.
Well, they've done it more times.
Yeah, that's true. What else?
I didn't see much else.
Oh yeah, okay.
That was how was Jericho's little whatever that was in terms of you'll get a shot at the AEW title. Actually,
it was a big swerve, but I've run the gamut of people that either really hated it or really loved it. There's no in between. I'm on the other side. I really didn't like the match. I thought it was really slow and plotting and not really a great use of Tanahashi. I think that Tanahashi made the drama a lot better because he's just one of the greatest of all time. But I think that Chris Jericho just can't go anymore. Like athletically, he's just not. To think like Tanahashi's only about 8 years younger than him, maybe 7 years younger than him, and he's like still kind of going crazy. But I don't think Jericho can go anymore. There's a bunch of like foolishness and low blows and a show that already had a lot of that with the White Ibushi match right before that.
Right.
I I just thought it didn't really do it for me. I thought the AEW stipulation was stupid. I was like, what's the point? And I thought you just put an unnecessary loss on Tanahashi for no reason, just to hype up a match to me that the only drama was if they would be an AEW. And I think that if they were going to have a partnership, they would have announced it before,
Right.
So,
I mean, yeah. I mean, what did you think of the partnership? Because there's been a lot of speculation conversation, I would like to say, in terms of a New Japan AEW partnership that people kind of want to happen. I personally, if I'm talking to me, I do want it to happen. I feel like having them at least featured on a weekly television show in the United States is fun, I think.
but they wouldn't be though.
You sure?
I don't. They're not. Well, New Japan's trying to expand right now.
Yeah.
So I don't think that you'd see Tanahashi on that show every week. I think if anything,
I mean not every week. I would say it would be seldom, like a program or two, like a program here and there. I'm not talking about a complete challenge. Talent swap or like talent, full talent thing. I think you have the program from here on out. You give them the exposure, then you kind of go back to business as usual. But you create these moments in New Japan, and you create these moments in AEW. I think something in AEW probably they want to go back to. I think if you have the Okada and Omega match, I mean, as much as we've seen that happen before, but you have it in America on American television, American pay-per-views. I think for at least AEW's fan base, I think they go up for that.
But think about but here's the thing. Think about the core of the people that we're going to be seeing in those positions. Cody, the Bucks, Kenny.
For sure.
We've seen all of those matchups before. I think the only one we probably haven't seen is like Jay White against somebody. Mm-hmm. But the core of New Japan hasn't really changed that much. And we've seen Ibushi, and Cody. We've seen Ibushi and Kenny Omega. We've seen all that stuff. So again, we're running into the same issues with AEW, is that like they have to make do with everything they have right now. I don't think they have enough to fill up a 2-hour show right now that would even be worth New Japan's time. Like I think for them to expand, they should just kind of do it on their own and see if they need them later. I wouldn't jump right into it because I mean they can barely even crack 1 million viewers a week. Like so New Japan, if they're trying to expand and be clear, expansion means that you're trying to expand it to being the number 2. Let's just be real. Like you're trying to expand to be the number 2 next to WWE. If you want to be number 2, they should be doing it on their own. There's no way you're going to team up with somebody to be number 2 because you still got to. Okada's still your. He's still your golden goose. Yes. I don't think they want him losing to anyone. But on the other side of that, Cody's their golden goose, and they don't want him. They don't want him really looking bad either. So I think AEW needs New Japan more than New Japan needs AEW. Just to be clear.
No, I agree.
So that was Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh, they also retired Liger.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Liger retirement. Sorry, I didn't mention it too. Really, really heartfelt. I think the actual ceremony at New Year's Dash is actually really good. I think that's the one takeaway from that show that I would actually watch. Yeah. But the actual matches were, playing the hits. I'll say that way. Just playing the hits. Like I think that Liger is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I think that when I first saw Japanese wrestling as a child, it was Masahiro Chono. It was Ultimo Dragon, and it was Jushin Thunder Liger, and I said, man, he looks like remember the show Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad?
No, but I know it of name.
So I was like, he looks kind of like that. He looks like Servo or whatever, but that actually was like Ultraman or whatever. But he looked like an anime come to life, and that's why I gravitated towards Liger, and I didn't follow him as much in my younger years. But
I do know this show. Okay,
yeah, it was a great show. I grew to appreciate him more as I got older, and that's my story of Liger. That's what I remember him as. And this guy's worked everywhere. He even got to work WWE before he retired. So like, he's a king. He's a god. Yeah, bro.
He is. He's just he just is. Shout out to him, Jushin Thunder Liger. Shout out to the career of him and being able to do this for so long. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Let's run through here. It's being reported by Dave Meltzer that Shirai and Kairi Sane, a lot of things are being reported about them right now. Mm-hmm. One of them is that they are Kadani from New Japan, who they of course recently acquired Stardom, their old promotion. I'm talking Io and Kairi's old promotion. They recently acquired Stardom. They're trying to get them back. They're aware and privy that their contracts are up, which is kind of crazy because Io has only been in NXT for like a shade under 2 years.
Yeah, I think we talked about her coming on this podcast and had a big discussion about whether or not it will live up to the Asuka thing. But yeah, it's been under 2 years. That'd be wild if her contract was coming up right now.
And Kairi Sane, which it makes sense that her contract would be up because she's been there about 4 years almost, about 3.5, 4 years. But it is being reported that they're both unhappy. Io more so because of the fact that her fiance Evil, who wrestles for New Japan Pro Wrestling under Naito's stable, she misses him and she misses home. And Kairi Sane, I'm not quite too sure what her unhappiness would be, but I would imagine
hit in the head.
I imagine her 2019 wouldn't have made her feel that much great, but I think that she had a pretty tenured run in NXT. I think she has some bangers there.
Just give her some. To be honest with you, with Kairi at least, I said just give it time. She's had a good run in NXT. It's not like her entire run in WWE has been a wash, but I think currently they're doing something to the Kabuki Warriors. Eventually, the Kabuki Warriors will break up because that is just WWE. And she'll get her own thing eventually. But in terms of unhappiness, I could see why Io would be unhappy. That's an unhappy situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely understandable. Like a lot of these people, these performers come to America and they have to like restructure their whole lives. And that's the frustrating part about it is that, like they're so talented, but we don't know what goes on when those curtains close. And, I never even knew she was engaged. I think Mauro had like, he had like alluded to it or said something about it on NXT a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, "Wow,
probably."
Mauro made the block high. Let me just tell you, like Mauro made the block high. Like, if I was Io and someone had made me privy that he had said that on television, I would have been pretty upset because that seemed to be like it was a rumor until he confirmed it, and I was just like, that's kind of crazy. But I would, I'm selfish, of course. I would love for her to see how far she would get on the main roster. Like, right. I think that there is definitely opportunity for her there. I think that like she'd definitely be utilized in a division that sorely needs new bodies on the main roster, as would pretty much everyone in NXT right now. But I think that it just sucks. That's even something coming up now. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm just going to go under the assumption that if it's being reported this heavily, and the guy from New Japan, Kadani, is saying this, then there might be some smoke to the fire. Yeah, or some fire to the smoke, whichever.
Yeah, it would be unfortunate if both of them left, but yeah, it would just be unfortunate. I don't know what else to say. I would rather Io not leave. I would rather Kairi not leave. I understand Io's situation entirely, especially if she wants to start her life with this person named Evil. Kairi Sane, I could see it, but also I think things need a lot more time. And I think given it a couple more years, and then I would say like, all right, yeah, no, this isn't working. Yeah, but immediately, after the first contract to kind of be like that, I would be like, nah.
Well, I worry about.
She won the Mae Young's Classic, the first one. She won the NXT Championship. She's a current tag team champion. I'm not someone who subscribed to the philosophy of like, we're giving you all these things, so why are you unhappy? I'm not subscribed to that. However, I think obviously they think highly of her to an extent. And that I think if she continues her WWE run, more good things like the things that have happened over the last 4 years will happen to her.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think just with the way WWE works now, you're usually going to get what you want if you just negotiate these days.
Yeah. I mean, quite honestly, that's been how they. I mean, even the people who want their release get their release, right?
I mean, if you want something, just say it. But I would just be really. Again, I just think that there is a lot for Kairi to do. And so she plays a really great heel. And I think if they want to turn her again and actually do right by her this time, she could be one of the biggest faces in the world. So we'll see. I hope Asuka, I hope Kana-chan can get her to stay. Who knows? But with Io, she's one of my favorite. I mean, I named her my female wrestler of the year. Even with her in NXT, there's a lot of upside to her. And I think her and Rhea Ripley, if they eventually do go down that road, they could have a great feud as well.
I agree.
Next up, really fun one here. Booker T, on a recent interview or a recent episode of his podcast, said that he'd love to manage the Street Profits. And that I also continued by saying WWE has 2 weeks to call him back, for him to compete against the Revival at the Royal Rumble event in Houston. I don't think I want to see that, but I do think I want to see him and the Street Profits together. I think love that.
I think if they're going to do the Revival thing, they would have started more heavily already. Yeah. The Street Profits thing, I'm not sure if I want to see. I don't know if you can reel in Montez Ford or Angelo Dawkins, to be honest with you. I don't think you can manage them, which is kind of like what makes them so good, right? Like, it's kind of like this unpredictable factor. Like, they'll do anything, but to kind of reel them in and kind of try to not impose, but try to inject them with the things that you've learned, which made you great at a certain time, may not work for them. I feel like the Street Profits are naturally them.
Yeah.
They're generally them. They do the things they want to do. They say the things that they want to say, all these other stuff. Do I think, working with Booker would help them? Yeah, but I don't think it's necessary.
It'd be a cool moment.
Yeah, I think I think if they wrestled a match with Booker T, that would be cool. If they did a little 6-man type of deal. But in terms of just the Street Profits being managed by Booker T, I mean, I don't really need to see Booker T I don't want to see Booker T being manage anybody, to be honest with you. Booker T is a talent. He just is. He's still huge. He's still big. He's still all these other things. I like him where he's at now. Talking pundit on WWE's Backstage. But I don't really like him in any other of the aspects about it. So I'm going to say a no on this one. If it happens, whatever. But I'm going to say I'm going to give this one a heavy nah.
I would love to see him walk them out to the ring one day. That's about it.
Yeah, I don't want to see this as a full turn thing. I think he's excited because he loves their energy and he loves everything that they do. But I don't think they need to make this happen.
All right. Well, Meelz, a couple of days ago, you scared me.
Okay.
By mentioning that you had a segment for me. And you told me to put it on the run sheet this week.
Yes.
And I said, I'm going to do this for you, but I have no clue what to expect here, so I'm going to take it away.
All right. Don't worry. Don't stray too far. It includes you. So I have an idea for a segment. This will be a short-lived segment. But as we're heading into the Royal Rumble 2020, I would love a way to sort of recapture the feelings of the old Royal Rumble, recapture the energy, just bring you back to the moment where these Royal Rumbles happen. So I have a special segment. It's called, actually, I'm legitimately coming up with it right now. I've workshopped it in my head, but not really. I'm going to call it the 5 of J5.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you 5 questions every week leading up until the Royal Rumble about various Royal Rumbles. And we can see if you can answer them or not.
Okay. This is fun.
Game?
Yeah, I'm down. This is fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this week we're revisiting. So I want you to leave. Don't go to Wiki. Leave the Wiki out of this.
Okay.
We're revisiting, considering it is the 20-year anniversary of the Royal Rumble 2000.
Woo!
We are reliving that moment right now. So I'm going to ask you 5 questions about the Royal Rumble 2000. It's going to, I think it'll generally be easy and some will be hard, but I'm going to ask you 5 questions about the Royal Rumble 2000. Are you ready, sir? The entire event, not just the Royal Rumble, the entire event.
Okay.
Okay. We'll see how this goes. First question here. This is a softball. Kurt Angle. He lost for the first time on this pay-per-view. Do you remember
Taz.
who was the person he lost to?
It was Taz.
It was Taz. Taz came out in New York City. I think people went up for him. I think that was the most excited people were for Taz in the WWE, to be quite honest with you.
And then he then he continued to wrestle.
And then, first of all, they gave him pants. They gave him a very they made him beat up JR which led to one of the most legendary lines that I'm not going to repeat on the show. The thing about what God did,
and what he was going to do.
Oh my God! Well, listen, that is what it is, but it is Taz. So make sure you watch that on Taz. Next up, the Intercontinental Championship.
Oh my God!
So there was an Intercontinental Championship match on this pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. This was part of a program with Chris Jericho and China, where they both held the Intercontinental Championship at the same time. Mm-hmm. And this match was to determine the undisputed WWF Intercontinental Championship. I need to let you know. I want to know from you. This match was a triple threat match. Who was the third person featured in this match?
Jeff Jarrett.
Wrong.
What? It wasn't Jeff Jarrett. Who was it?
Jeff Jarrett was gone in late 1999.
He was gone. You're right.
The third man in this match was none other than Hardcore Holly.
Yeah. Fuck. I knew it was somebody blind. I knew it was somebody blind.
It was Hardcore Holly. I don't know. First of all, that match was honestly, it was pretty good, to be honest with you. For a China match, which was like sometimes they're of varying quality, a lot of time not as good.
I'll take your word for that.
But this one was pretty okay. Let's talk about this. They had a major match for the WWF Championship on this card. A street fight between Triple H and Cactus Jack. Mm-hmm. There was someone who interfered in this match. Who was that person?
Can I get 3 tries?
Do you want a multiple choice or you want 3 tries?
Give me 3. I don't want multiple choice. Give me 3. Give me 3 tries.
I will give you 3 tries.
Stephanie McMahon.
Stephanie McMahon was featured in the match, but actually did not actually interfere in the match.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Big Boss Man.
Big Boss Man was not there. You have 1 try left, sir.
Fuck.
Would you like to phone a friend?
Big Boss Man.
You want to phone a friend?
Who was he feuding with at the time? Because we're going into Mania.
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. He was feuding with him a lot.
Yeah, I know.
It had 2000.
Was it The Rock?
It was The Rock, sir.
Okay, yeah.
It was The Rock.
It had to be a good guy, because I was like, if it wasn't any of those bad guys, it had to be a good guy.
It was actually a callback for Rumble 1999. Triple H had Cactus Jack handcuffed and was beating the hell out of him with a steel chair. Whereas, show how far they come. The Rock actually came out very, very briefly and beat pretty much smacked the hell out of Triple H. So that was fun. Also, really, really gruesome and interesting.
One of my favorite Triple H matches.
Yeah, easily. I think that match made him, right? Like really kind of made him. Absolutely. We had a match between the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys on this pay-per-view, but it had a stipulation. What was the stipulation on this pay-per-view? The Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys.
Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys. Oh, it was tables match. It was a tables match.
Yes,
because it was leading. It was like the proper escalation of these matches.
Until the eventual TLC match at SummerSlam 2000.
Yeah. Yep.
That is right. The Hardy Boys won. It was an iconic spot with Jeff Hardy coming off the top of Madison, kind of the Madison Square Garden thing, and kind of putting them through the table. We have one more.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know. I kind of want to do another one because I have. All right. Let me do 2 more questions.
Okay.
All right. As you know, this year at the Royal Rumble, we'll have Becky versus Asuka. It is one of the most anticipated matches that we've seen in Royal Rumble in quite some time.
Right.
This Royal Rumble also featured women on the show.
Oh my God.
In the first ever Miss Royal Rumble pageant, sort of. If you can name 3 people featured in this pageant, you will essentially get the question right. If you can name 3 people featured in the Miss Royal Rumble pageant, or bikini, or actually, I think it was a bikini contest. 3 people. 2000 swimsuit contest. Jacqueline was there. Honestly, quite honestly, the winner. What she wearing was too risque for me to actually see as a kid.
Was the cat around there? The cat
was there. The cat was there. She had a bubble wrap bikini.
And 2000. There weren't a lot of women in 2000. Sable wasn't there.
No, Sable definitely wasn't there.
Oh my God, who was there? This is hard. This is actually really hard without God, do I remember this? What women did they have there?
Year 2000. This is January 2000.
I don't. I really, other than those, I can't remember anybody.
Wow.
I can't remember anybody.
Okay, I'll tell you who was featured in this match.
Okay.
It was Jacqueline.
Okay.
The women's champion, the cat.
Okay, wow. She was the fucking champion. Okay.
Terry. Ivory. Luna Vachon. That surprised me. Luna was in this.
Oh my God.
Barbara Bush. I don't know if you remember Barbara Bush. She was the EMT with a giant breast. And they called her BB all the time.
Oh, I do remember her.
So her name was Barbara Bush. And of course, the winner of this match, the most infamous moment of this pay-per-view, Mae Young, coming out and exposing herself on pay-per-view in front of thousands of people in Madison Square Garden.
I flopped. I'm a flop. I'm a fraud. I'm a fraud, everyone.
I'll give you one more question to redeem yourself.
Okay.
Let's see. How can I put this? So the Royal Rumble 2000, the Royal Rumble match itself, 30-man Royal Rumble. Who were the final 4 men?
Oh, fuck.
Let me know if you need hints. The final 4 men.
Okay,
now, granted, the final 2 men you should know.
Yeah, let's get it out the way here because I remember this one. It was the Rock Big Show BS, right?
Yes, the Rock Big Show BS.
Okay, Rock Big Show.
There were 2 more people. I'll give you a hint. They were feuding heavily at this time.
Everyone was feuding heavily at this time.
I'll give you another hint. One was part of D-Generation X.
Well, it's not Triple H. It's more than likely not Road Dogg and Billy at the time. They weren't in DX at the time, were they? They weren't.
They were, but it wasn't them.
Didn't they break? No, I thought they broke. No, they were. They hadn't broke up yet. That's next year.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, they stayed together a whole other year after this. That's insane. Fudge. X-Pac?
X-Pac is the 3rd man. You have 1 more man.
Okay.
He's feuding heavily with X-Pac around this time.
Not Steve Blackman. No.
This is 2000. 2000.
You love this.
I love this.
Well, okay. You said Terry, or you said Terry earlier.
Yes.
Right? So Terry was involved with X-Pac for a while. She was involved with Kane. Was it Kane?
It was Kane.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
And it actually was not Terry. It was Tori.
Tori, I'm sorry. Yeah, Tori.
It was Tori.
I messed up just now and got myself the answer by messing up. So there you go.
It was X-Pac, Kane, Big Show and The Rock. X-Pac was one of those ones who actually was eliminated earlier, but tricked the referee and managed to slide back in the ring. And he eliminated Kane, but then was eliminated by Big Show. And of course, we got the Big Show, The Rock schmaz. And if you remember playing WWF No Mercy, they took out the Big Show out of that game. So the schmaz became between The Rock and Steven Richards.
There you go.
Listen, the 5 with 5. Listen, the 5 with 5 at 5. Let's talk about it.
I did pretty good. I did pretty good for my first time.
You did great. You did great. Listen, we're going to do another Royal Rumble next week. Just be ready. I would say watch, your Royal Rumbles. Know your eras.
Can you tell me where you're going next week so I can know?
No, I will not, because it'll be super easy.
All right, fine, whatever.
Yeah, it'll be super easy. Just, stay up on your Royal Rumbles. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about this week.
All right, so this is where this is not what will make you happy. Well, no, I thought both shows this week were really good.
No, both shows are actually really good this week. Smackdown was very, very good last week Friday, considering everything that kind of happened and all the surprises. They managed to keep it under wraps, quite honestly.
Oh, 100%. We've been saying, oh, Usos for like weeks.
Yeah, where the Usos at? But yeah. we did find out last week the Usos actually were in court.
Yeah, they beat them. I love that as soon as they beat the case, they
beat the case. They back, baby. I was like, is this really what it was?
It had to be. It had to be the court case. That's the only.
It had to be. That's the reason why Jeff Hardy's not back.
Yeah, it is. So, but the thing is, even the Sheamus stuff, we were like, okay, we're going to be getting like the Sheamus returns in.
Right. I thought he was returning at the Royal Rumble or something.
Or like even with Liv, we were like, okay, Liv is going to get the Liv returns in next week. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they just kind of gave it away, and I love that they've been able to keep these things under wraps, and then they've been actual surprises. So. Of course, as we said, SmackDown was a night of returns. I think there was one return that I don't think either of us were like, kind of like, can't wait to see him. But one of them was John Morrison.
John Morrison.
Miz snaps. He snaps. He's finally going back to his heelish ways. I think that
Thank God.
Like getting him back on the track. I love the way they set this up with Kofi and Miz. Basically talking about the fact that something I didn't even know. I didn't even realize that they both held the most championships of the decade last decade.
So Miz posted on his social media. That's why I knew.
And basically that started up a match where they were like, Miz just,
he's frustrated. He just lost to they don't understand the Miz. He just lost to Bray Wyatt, who pretty much not even tortured his family, but messed with his family. And they coming in with a pancaking ass and just like, yo, Miz, just,
wait a minute. You turned on Kofi. You turned on, are y'all hearing this?
First of all, listen, I'm not turning on Kofi. I'm just saying there's a time and place for everything. And it wasn't no time. The man talking about his family.
This man was so upset last October.
Listen, I don't think the Miz would have came at Kofi the same way when they had Randy Orton making weird eyes at his kids. So I'm just saying there's a time and place for everything. Listen, and it just wasn't the time, bro.
I really hope he's paying you because you're looking a little bit Stephen A. Smith right now.
What am I talking about? What are you talking about? Listen, I understand the Miz's entire ordeal. First of all, the Miz's heel change was the most natural heel turn. I'll
agree, but we had to know it was coming, and I thought that it was a nice touch that when they need someone to turn or flip, they have them go against the Fiend.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really, I really do like that. I like that storyline. I like that storyline thing. And if you're already bad, you turn good again. I really do enjoy that. I do enjoy that a lot. So we did have Miz against Kofi Kingston. Kofi beats him with the roll up. Miz attacks him after the bell. And Miz gets some help from John Morrison. We don't know what that's all about. I guess we'll see this week. But it looks as though Miz and Morrison are returning. Natural place to put Morrison until they figure out what they want to do with him as a singles, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, quite honestly,
they need tag teams too.
They need tag teams. First of all, the Miz and Morrison, just a great just, you got something with them. This is easy for kind of put Morrison next to the Miz. You can always turn Morrison on the Miz and kind of do that entire thing, make him a bigger sort of face after that. I think it's a great use of both of them. I think the Miz, you always kind of have a hard time. I wouldn't say a hard time, but you want to feature him on the show, but you don't really know where, but you know that he can kind of do anything.
Yeah.
And I think incorporating John Morrison back into this thing stops him from becoming like, quite honestly, like I don't know what to say, like a Shelton Benjamin type of esque return.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Like where he's just like, oh, this was cool 10 years ago. Let's do this. You kind of put him next to the Miz, who's very current. You put him across from the New Day, who are just uber popular. I think it's all an ingredient for success. So you know what, I'm fine with it. And
it gives them something to do. And I think like if you really want to get spicy, I think you run with like a ladder match with these two teams, and I think that would be really dope.
SmackDown don't got no new teams, bro. Everyone faced each other already.
You're right. Well, the Usos are back, but I don't know if they're going to put them. They're immediately back in title contention because, of course,
by Mania, probably.
Well, you don't want the New Day to be there. I think we've exhausted that.
Well, so here's the thing now. Now that you got the Usos back as well.
Weren't they drafted to Raw at first? They went to Raw last year, right? Or
I think they were on Raw last year. But I think on the draft, they weren't drafted.
Right. That's because I was really looking forward to, of course, Viking Raiders and Usos, and now it seems to be they're right back on Smackdown. But I think that Raw right now is surprisingly fine with tag teams. So I don't think that they need the Usos right now. It's just something I want to see.
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, I mean, quite honestly, I think you have the Usos, you have Miz and Morrison potentially, you have the New Day, you have Otis and what's his face. You have
Otis and Tucky.
Yeah, there you go, Turkey.
We're coming.
You have potentially a Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler type of deal.
Yeah.
So, you got a lot of options, quite honestly. Like now SmackDown is kind of like opened up with the tag teams.
Let's talk about Sheamus. Sheamus came back to seemingly help out.
He looks great.
Chad Gable. He looks like 2012 Sheamus again. Yeah. And he kicked the living hell out of Chad Gable.
Shorty G, baby.
Oh, I'm sorry, Shorty G. My bad. I'm cool with this. I think that they'll have a really great feud. I'm not upset with this at all.
I think Sheamus as a heel is his best when he's a bully. Mm-hmm. So I think put him against Shorty G, who's the shortest man on the roster and obviously someone who he could bully, is just, right for him. And then I also think, like, first of all, I always forget that Sheamus won a Royal Rumble.
Yes.
It is the quietest thing that has happened.
He has
he's fully won a Royal Rumble, a King of the Ring, a WWE Championship. Like
John Cena, had a WrestleMania main event with Triple H. A lot of things.
Yeah, won the world title at a WrestleMania. Like he's done a lot of stuff. Like he's quietly has a great resume. However, we just Sheamus is still Sheamus, so that negates all of that. But I say a good return. I mean, Sheamus returning it's going to add to the show. I still think SmackDown needs a little bit more.
I think they need Ali back. I think that's what they need. But
I honestly think they need a Jeff Hardy back, to be honest with you.
Ali the new Jeff Hardy. Feel me? Well, here's the thing. I think this is going to lead to a Ali Sheamus feud.
Yeah, probably. I mean, at some point, probably. Yeah.
I think he's gonna be the guy to stand up to Sheamus, and I think that's gonna rock.
I think so as well. It was fine. I liked his return as well. I mean, I can't say much more. I can't say more about the Usos return. The Usos came right on time, to be honest with you.
It was. It was necessary. People have been saying, okay, Bloodline has to come back, and they did.
Yeah, I'm tired of Michael Cole's like, and they've got the dog food, and I'm just like,
I'm tired of this dog food under the.
I'm tired of this dog food. I'm tired of them holding it up, like to make sure the crowd knows it's about to be dog food time on this. Like, I'm. It's so wild that that's a weapon in 2020. Like, I don't know, the dog food. It is what it is.
Usos came back. I think the last thing I want to touch on, other than just how weird the Mandy Otis thing is, and the Dana Brooke pinning Sasha thing, it broke the internet.
First of all, Dana Brooke nearly broke Sasha Banks, quite honestly.
Dana looked like she had no lift when she did that.
Bruh, she did a cannonball flip. Landed squarely on that poor woman.
And Sasha's tiny, bro. I was like, bro, what?
It's like she gets injured every other month, and here you come with your Dana Brooking all over her. I'm tired of it. It's Dana Brooke. This is your moment. You know what? I'm not gonna put it against her because these things kind of happen. They just They do. But it had to be Dana Brooke, right? Like, obviously, like it's
good win for her. It sets up a match. The faces have to win sometimes. They got to give some burn to some of these people that have been on.
I don't like when Dana Brooke wins.
Oh wow! All right, bud.
She has the least. Her personality is so like, I'm just here. I'm just letting these girls know playtime is over. So
Dana Brooke has the I have a black baby daddy energy.
Yeah, I don't like when she wins because it's like, all right, like you talking a lot for someone who won one day out of 366 days out of this damn year. Like,
well, you know what? Flex up. It's flex time.
Is it?
Flex appeal, whatever she says her thing is. I don't like her gear. Her gear is terrible.
She don't know what she's doing, bro.
Wow,
she don't know what she's doing. She's coasting. She coasting.
This is pure hate.
Well, listen, tell her. Feel free to change my mind. I feel like the guy at the table.
Has Otis changed your mind?
No. No. You know what? This feud might. You know what I'll say about this feud? This Otis, Mandy, Dolph Ziggler type of thing. Dolph Ziggler is playing his role to a T, and I don't really give Dolph Ziggler any compliments, but this is the role that he was born for.
He was born for this. Dolph Ziggler in the back,
early 2000s douchebag, dude, where's my car? Antagonist or protagonist, or whatever the fuck it is. Like he is evil Stifler. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
This is the role that he is, like womanizing douchebag, gets the girl anyway. Otis is like, makes fun of Otis's weight and that he can't do it, a whole bunch of other things. You know what?
Dirty Mackin.
Dirty Mackin. This is the role he was meant to play for. He's got that stupid hat on, but he making that work. You know what? I never thought I would live in an age where I give compliments to Dolph Ziggler, but this is the role he was born for.
Otis, you got a fan of me, Otis. Let's talk about Raw. Let's get through Raw really quick.
Yeah, let's get through Raw.
Really, really good show. Two really good matches to start off the show, but to the bigger moment to start the show is Brock Lesnar announcing that he's entering the Royal Rumble, but not only just entering, but he's entering at number 1. So immediately when I heard this, I was like, okay, so he's gonna eliminate about 10 people, and then this is gonna be a match after that because someone's gonna come out, maybe either Roman or someone else that is going to knock him out for about an hour, right? I mean, I saw that immediately. Like I was just like, okay, I get where they're gonna go here, and I'm okay with it. I like this twist. I think this will set up his challenger, whoever it might be.
I agree.
I just hope that they kept mentioning NXT. Okay. Yeah. So I think what better?
You talking about Keith Lee, Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania?
Well, not even that. I think that, what better way to introduce Matt Riddle or to have a big interpromotional match than to have Keith Lee or a Matthew Riddle or a Ciampa or somebody be in that role against Brock Lesnar and be the one to have eliminated him and Brock have to go after them. Like, I don't think he'll show up to Full Sail, but I think that again puts NXT some intrigue into what they're going to be doing for that takeover that weekend, and it puts NXT on the actual Mania card.
I do think an NXT person will win one of these Rumbles. I'm not sure it's going to be the one with Brock Lesnar in it, to be quite honest with you.
No, I don't think they're going to win. I think they're going to toss him because I don't think Brock is going to win this.
So here's the thing. Let me kind of revisit my train of thought. The minute I heard this, I thought about Heyman and Vince and them in the writer's room, and they're probably having the same question that we've had for a couple of weeks. Yo, what are we doing at Brock Lesnar? What are we doing at Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble? Who we got him to face? Who's there? Who hasn't he beaten? Shit, he's been here how long now? Oh God, 8 years? Wow. Who do we got? Damn, we got nobody. Everyone's, can we do Ray again? Nah. Is Cain Velasquez knee ready? No. What do we do? And I'm sure Paul Heyman is like, let's put him in the Rumble. Fuck it. Like,
Yeah.
why are we trying to fuss over, who he can face and kind of do the same kind of like systematic, formulaic type of deal? Let's shock the world and put Royal Rumble and put Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble and let's make him number one. That gives him some fun stuff to write, some fun interactions for Brock Lesnar to have that he would normally never have on any basis.
Yep. Elias, R-Truth.
Yeah.
The Cruiserweight guys. A lot of people.
Yeah.
NXT guys. Like I said, NXT guys.
100%. Like, we'll never see Brock Lesnar versus an NXT. Hopefully. I mean, I won't say never is never, but I'm pretty sure it's never.
I honestly see this year as a fun year for him. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I see this as a really fun year for Brock. I think that he's almost 10 years in his latest run.
Yeah.
I think he might be a little bit more open to certain things. And I think with Paul writing it, I don't think Paul is going to give him a raw deal. And I think that there are people in both SmackDown and NXT that Paul does see things in. And I think that, to me, the only outcome to this is interpromotional match for Brock Lesnar, because I don't think there's anyone on Raw that's ready.
No, I don't think so either. Brock Lesnar entering number one. I mean, I don't know all the things that you said thus far with the big person eliminating him in the match and then leading to a match at the Royal Rumble. That's in my mind. But I don't know where they go with this, but I'm interested. I'm intrigued. Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble as WWE champion. It kind of makes me think. It kind of makes me think
face to face.
Yeah, it kind of makes me think. It's like, yo, why did we put the belt on him again?
You put the belt on him because you had to pop a rating for the SmackDown debut. You had to get the Cain Velasquez thing going. I mean, Cain could honestly still enter and be the WrestleMania opponent, but it's like, do we know his recovery from the knee surgery?
I don't know at this point. I hope he doesn't come back. I'll tell you that.
Me too. I'm not a big fan of the guy. Next up, we're Raw. Seth is now the Monday Night Messiah, and we had another big return on Monday Night Raw of the Big Show, who came out to help Kevin. Well, you can't say that it was somebody that was already on the roster that we knew about.
I kind of wish it was.
You wish it was Ricochet? You wish it was fucking Ricochet?
I wanted anybody else. At this point, I thought it was either Big Show or Kane. I was just like, God, if it's one of these motherfuckers. And then it ended up being the Big Show. First of all, did not know Big Show is still an active participant on this roster. I had fully thought he was in his very nice part-time status. The man is like, I finally returned from hip injury or hip surgery. And I was like, bro, you know what hip surgery is? Hip surgery is time to retire, bro.
I don't think he's going to be around that long.
Hip surgery, he'd probably be around till Mania, of course.
Yeah, he'll be around till Mania. He'll probably do the Andre, and then he'll probably take a break again.
Yeah, probably do a Saudi show and then get out of there. But yeah, I was just like, you know what? Sure. I thought it was just like, it was very weird.
Let's not be disingenuous here. He got a really big pop.
He got a big pop. Yeah, he's Big Show. Shit. He's been around for 20 years. That's great. I thought it would look very weird next to Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens, two kick-ass machines who are there to kick ass. And then here comes the biggest ass kicker of them all. And it's like suddenly their kind of like role in this entire team was kind of like a little bit diminished. Yeah. But you know what? Big Show, whatever. Big Show. I'm healed by February.
I'm wondering when we're going to get to the KO Seth Rollins match. They've held off on this match for a very long time.
Yeah.
2 months they've held off on this, and I'm very shocked.
You think it's Rumble? It's Rumble season?
It would have to be Rumble, right? Or else. But the thing is, you know that those two are going to be in the Rumble, so it's like you give it away and then give it back. So it's like, it's weird, like, because you could still do it at Elimination Chamber, but there's a very long lag time between Elimination Chamber and Mania this year. So.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of doing an Elimination. I think that's way too long, and then I also think it's like nothing really happens at Elimination Chamber, so it's.
Well, one thing I am happy about, and I do like, and he's doing, and Heyman is doing this with Lana and Bobby too. It's giving you matches and storylines that are TV focused and not just built for the next pay per view. So if he has to keep you off the show, he'll do that. But the storyline won't be over. It's the same thing he's doing with Andrade and Buddy Murphy too. It's like these feuds aren't just the build up to the next show; they're the build up to the next TV show. And I think that Raw is very TV focused, and I think that that's one thing I enjoy about it is that you're going to know what you're going to get next week. Like next week, we know we're getting a fist fight. We know we're getting bloody.
Whatever that is. Blood sport.
We know we're getting AJKO.
Calling up Cyrus is blood sport on Raw next week.
Well, we know we're getting Randy Orton, AJ. We know we're getting a bunch of matches next week beforehand. And I think that that's something that super, super good booking there. And I think it's different than what we've gotten in the past 5 years. But, it's like, where are we gonna end with KO and Seth, because it's gonna run its course, and you got to have the next natural progression, whether it be Seth winning the first match or KO winning the first match. So we'll 100%,
see. Yeah.
Andrade and Rey Mysterio, which again another example of my TV focused feuds. Really, really weird ending, I will say, but good match.
It really seemed like something went wrong.
Someone wasn't supposed to get back in the ring yet. And I don't know who it was.
But the point was, it's like, wait, but he got back in the ring. So what happened now? Like, why did we have to take him out of the ring to get him back in the ring again? That was what I was confused about. I was like, wait, but
and then Ray was like, I have a wife. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Bruh. I liked it. I like the shenanigans of it all. I can't believe we're in another Rey Mysterio Andrade feud. But we are. But it was pretty good. I mean, these two deliver all the time. So it's like, can't be mad at it.
And look, it seems as though we are going to a mask versus hair or mask versus title feud. And
mask versus title, please. I cannot, for Charlotte's sake, please.
I think Andrade is probably ready, at least for the wedding's sake, to cut the hair.
Nah,
he's not like the young flashy. He's trying to settle down.
He cut his hair, and Charlotte sees like, you got some lumps on your head, bro. Like,
Messy Meelz is back, ladies and gentlemen.
It's like, you always had these lumps. You always had MS-13 tattooed on your head.
Wow, what the hell? You are wilding, bro. You are wilding. I think they're leading to something big here. I think that this is the hottest the feud's ever been, and reigniting it is the smartest thing that Heyman's done. I think they're incapable of having bad matches. So go out, Royal Rumble weekend, give them 20 minutes, have Andrade finish the feud the right way, and then he moves on to whoever he gets at the Rumble. I think that they might be leading to him and Ricochet, or possibly him and who else is a face? I feel like everyone on Raw is heels.
I don't know. I don't even know anymore. Probably be a ladder match.
That'd be dope. One point I want to talk about, the Street Profits, man. They're over.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
In Oklahoma, they're over. So like that lets you know that they have officially gotten to that point.
I think Oklahoma was a little bit drunk. Everyone had a little cup in their hand. It was a little. They had the little bit of the bubbly all night, but it was pretty good.
They had a great triple threat match with the OC and the Viking Raiders. Viking Raiders, yeah. Finally getting their win back over the OC. I really want to see the Viking Raiders and Street Profits have a feud. I think that would be really spectacular. I think they have great matches and great face-offs with each other. It was spanning all the way back to that match they had at NXT a year ago. Mm-hmm. They've always had really great matches, and I hope that they get an extended feud out of this, because I think they gave away that match too early a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago when they beat them, and I think that they needed to go back to that.
I agree.
Sarah Logan.
Oh, we don't need to talk about her, but
it was such a weird segment. Like,
I think this is more like everyone's in Royal Rumble season this time. Everyone's in Rumble mode. It could be anybody. Especially Charlotte.
They caught them fighting for 10 minutes. So I guess she got called up and Chelsea Green got the call up to main event. I guess that's how NXT gets called up now.
Listen, you got to do your main event time. Don't think you're going to step on Sarah Logan's, you're just gonna jump over Sarah Logan. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it was a weird segment. Charlotte needs direction, and I think this is like week 18 of us saying this.
Charlotte's got direction. It's the Royal Rumble. That's what her direction is. I got, I'm not really like worried about her because the Royal Rumble is right there, and she hasn't won yet, and she probably will win.
I'm not sure she's gonna win the Royal Rumble. Ms. Royal was open.
Yeah, I mean, but she still will be a prominent figure in the Royal Rumble. Her direction is the Royal Rumble. That's all I think. That's all I think right now.
I hope that you are right, sir. Becky Asuka had a pretty good segment on Raw as well. I think they don't do much. They need to they could be off the show for 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks of this build, and it would still be fine. How do you feel about the Royal Rumble initial build here? We have 8 confirmed entries in the male one. Charlotte is the only confirmed entry in the women's Royal Rumble. And let me just see who's confirmed. So we got Eric Rowan, Ricochet, Rey Mysterio, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, AJ Styles, and Randy Orton for the Royal Rumble so far. So that leaves it's what? It's a lot of Raw superstars. It's one SmackDown guy so far.
I think we're actually going to get more Raw guys.
Things will be 10-10-10?
Hell no. I think we're going to get more Raw guys than SmackDown guys.
So 15, what about 15-10-5?
I would say probably maybe 13-10-7.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we're definitely going to get more Raw guys. I think there's more people on the Raw roster, quite honestly, and it would be weird to fit in 10 people from SmackDown. I mean, they could. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's like, Braun Strowman, Shinsuke, whatever.
Sammy.
Yeah. So, but I don't think that's going to happen. The build is okay. I'm not mad at it. I'm kind of like waiting to get there. The Fiend versus Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan. Not sure what they're going to do with that. Becky Lynch versus Asuka is number 1 on my list. The Royal Rumbles are always a hoot. I'm there. Brock Lesnar is in the Royal Rumble. I'm there. You sold it.
Sold itself.
I got
it's literally,
yeah.
It's like when they put Roman in there in 2015. It's like when they put Stone Cold in there. It's like it's the stakes are higher when there's a big name that is already advertised to go, and especially if they're the champion as well. I'm cool with the build right now. I'm just waiting to see what shoe's going to drop as far as the NXT involvement. Paul Heyman kept mentioning it, and I just want to make it a point that he kept saying NXT. And I think that they're gonna have a role, and I think that they absolutely should. So I don't think that what they did at Survivor Series should go unnoticed and go untalked about because they beat the 2 big main roster shows. So
yeah,
they
probably gonna get jumped in that match.
Oh, cool. That's cool. I mean, I'm pretty sure they can handle themselves. They can. Ain't nobody jumping Keith Lee. Let's be clear.
I'll jump Keith Lee. No.
Wow. Okay. All right. At real Keith Lee. I'm gonna add him right now.
Add him right now. Let him know that he sounds like his entrance theme sounds like when Will Smith raps on Family Guy. That's
all right. All right. You are too spicy today. That means that it is time to end the show. That is it. In the week of pro wrestling, big week for pro wrestling on the first week back for 2020. Next week, we should have more build for Royal Rumble, more build for Becky Asuka, more build for whatever SmackDown is going to do. Maybe we'll see more Uso. So we'll see next week on the A Show. And we will have another edition of, what'd you call it, 5 at 5?
The 5 with 5.
What about the Rumble 5?
The Rumble 5, sure, whatever. It's workshop name. The Rumble 5 is what we'll call it. The Rumble 5 with J5 is what we'll call it.
I'm cool with 5 at 5 because if you're trying to test my wrestling knowledge, I'm unmatched, my friend.
All right. Well, you got a couple wrong, so much for that.
Wow. All right.
But we'll be back with another Rumble. Make sure you all watch your Rumbles, and just see what you get right. It is what it is. I'll have another Royal Rumble queued up for next week.
We didn't touch on Bobby and Rusev. There wasn't much there.
Oh, there wasn't much there. You guys touched on it a lot last week.
There's going to be a match next week. So
yeah, so we'll definitely hopefully see the penultimate. Hopefully this thing ends.
It has to end soon. It has to. So yeah, until next week, thank you. Follow us at RNC Radio Live, at OG Johnny 5, at Meelz TV, on where all social media is found. And until next week, happy Rusev Day.
Happy Rusev Day.
Peace.
Peace.